The Awakening of the Forgotten Senses. All right, brace yourselves, folks. You've been living in a world that constantly tells you what you can see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. Simple, right? You might even say, well, duh, that's all there is to reality. These five senses are all that matters, or so we've been told. Anything outside of these limitations, oh, that's just the realm of fantasy, mysticism, or dare I say, delusion. But wait, before you close your mind to that thought, let's think this through. What if this reality we've been living is a very limited one? What if the truth of the universe is far bigger and far stranger than just five senses can show us? Let me take you on a journey that might challenge everything you've ever believed. Ancient mystics, sages, and esoteric masters from millennia ago had a secret. It's not just some ancient fairy tale or folklore. They knew something that we've forgotten in our modern world, something that's been wiped from our consciousness, buried under the weight of logic, science, and all the hustle and bustle of daily life. They knew that you weren't born with just five senses. No, you came with seven. Five to keep you alive, to help you survive the daily grind. But the other two, they were built to awaken something deeper in you, something profound, something cosmic. They were designed to help you see beyond the physical, to see beyond the veil that most people think is the limit of reality. And that's the crux of it. You were not designed to just survive the world. You were made to thrive in it, to perceive and understand it at levels beyond what's physically visible. You weren't made just to get by. You were meant to connect with something higher, something greater. And this isn't just some mystical mumbo-jumbo. No, you were made to sense energy, to understand the hidden patterns of the universe, and to access wisdom beyond logic. This is your birthright. This is your true potential. Welcome to the Awakening of the Forgotten Senses. Chapter 1. The Myth of the Physical Senses. Let's start by examining the so-called reality you've been living in all these years. You were taught, right from the moment you took your first breath, that the world around you is contained in these five senses: your eyes, your ears, your skin, your taste buds, and your nose. Everything you need to know about the universe, they told you, can be measured and observed through these. Your sight sees it, your ears hear it, your hands feel it, and if you can taste it or smell it, well, that's pretty much the final seal of approval that it's real. You've been told that this is your entire reality, that anything beyond this realm is either invisible or simply doesn't exist. And why wouldn't you believe it? After all, it's the reality that you've been conditioned to trust your entire life. It's how society works. It's how the world feels. There's nothing more concrete than your senses. But hold on a second. Let's pause and reconsider. What if your five senses are actually just filters through which you experience reality? What if these senses, these basic operating systems, are like the most rudimentary, outdated version of reality? You see, your physical senses are just skimming the surface, just scratching the top of a massive iceberg of existence. To illustrate this, let's get a little weird. Your eyes, for example, can only see a small sliver of the light spectrum. That's right, folks, you can't even see most of the light around you. And I'm not just talking about ultraviolet or infrared rays. Your eyes are pretty much blind to huge swathes of reality. It's as if you've been handed a pair of glasses that only let you see in black and white, while the world is teeming with color beyond imagination. Your ears? Oh, they're great for listening to music or hearing your neighbor complain about their Wi-Fi, but they only pick up a very narrow range of sound. Ever heard a dog whistle? No? Well, that's because your ears can't pick up on that high-pitched sound. But guess what? Dogs totally hear it. What about other frequencies, like those in radio waves or electromagnetic fields? You don't hear them, but they're there, vibrating away in the background, unseen and unnoticed by your five senses. Now, let's take this a step further. Here's where it gets fascinating. Science is finally catching up to something ancient mystics have been saying for thousands of years. Did you know that matter? The stuff you think is solid, the table you're sitting at, the ground beneath your feet, is mostly empty space. Yeah, sounds like science fiction, but it's true. What we perceive as solid objects are actually just tightly packed particles vibrating at such a high frequency that they give the illusion of being solid. So, here's the real kicker. Your physical senses are just tuning into a small frequency of reality. You've been told this is all there is, but there's so much more out there, beyond your limited range. And here's the twist. We've been taught to trust what we can see and measure, and anything that doesn't fit into those five senses. It's invisible, and therefore not real. But the funny part is that intuition, gut feelings, and other non-measurable experiences, well, they're as real as the air you breathe. You just haven't been taught to recognize them as valid forms of knowing. Imagine your intuition is like an app on your phone. You're just too distracted to use it because you've been told it's useless. Chapter 2. The Sixth Sense. Intuition as the soul's voice. Now let's talk about the real treasure hidden inside of you. Intuition. You've had it your entire life, but how often do you use it? How many times have you ignored it, rationalized it, or brushed it off as just a feeling? Let me tell you this, that feeling isn't a coincidence. It's your sixth sense, a direct link to the higher realms, a part of you that knows far more than your five senses could ever comprehend. Intuition isn't some mystical, magical force that only the chosen few can tap into. It's something you were born with, and it's there to help you navigate life. You've probably had moments where you just knew something wasn't right, but there was no logical explanation for why you felt that way. That's intuition speaking. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who seemed perfectly nice on the outside, but for some reason, your gut was telling you something's off? Ever been about to make a decision and had that inexplicable feeling that it just wasn't the right choice, even though everything seemed perfect? That wasn't your imagination. That was your intuition working its magic. Now, here's the funny part. We've been trained to ignore that inner voice, haven't we? From the moment we're told to think logically and be reasonable, we start to drown out our inner knowing. Logic has taken the throne, and intuition has been banished to the dungeons, waiting to be called upon. But intuition doesn't care about logic. It doesn't care about reason. It doesn't need facts or numbers. It just knows. It's like your soul's own personal GPS system, always trying to help you make the right decision. You just have to be willing to listen. And here's the best part. The more you trust it, the stronger it gets. It's like a muscle you need to work out. Every time you listen to that gut feeling, that intuitive nudge, your sense of it grows. Eventually, you'll start making decisions not from fear, but from alignment. Alignment with who you are at your deepest level. Chapter 3. The Seventh Sense. Clairsentience and the Feeling of Energy. All right, buckle up. Let's talk about your seventh sense, clairsentience. Now, don't let the fancy name scare you off. It just means being able to feel energy and emotion in a way that goes beyond the physical. That gut feeling you get when something just doesn't feel right, even when there's no obvious reason for it. That's clairsentience at work. This is the sixth sense's cooler, more woo-woo cousin. Clairsentience is your ability to pick up on the energy in your surroundings. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately sensed that the energy was off? Maybe you didn't see anything unusual, but you could feel the tension in the air, like it was thick enough to cut with a knife. Maybe you've been around someone who appeared to be perfectly fine, but something about them just felt heavy or distant. That's your seventh sense doing its job. Clairsentience is not about emotions or psychological projections. It's not about sympathy. It's about sensing the vibration of things. People, places, objects, and even situations emit energy, and you have the ability to tune into it. The beauty of clairsentience is that it lets you experience the world beyond what's obvious or visible. It's like having an energy radar system built into you, constantly picking up on things that your physical senses just can't register. And here's the mind-blowing part. You've always had this ability. You've just been taught to ignore it or label it as oversensitivity. But once you start tuning into it, your world becomes infinitely richer. You'll begin to feel energies you never noticed before. You'll feel the truth behind someone's words, the sincerity, or lack of it, behind a smile. Chapter 4. The Subtle Bodies. You are not just one body, you are a multi-layered being. Now, we're really going deep, folks. You're not just a body walking around on this earth, you're a multi-dimensional being, a cosmic cocktail of energy, light, and matter. And guess what? Each of those components has its own body. Yep, that's right. You have more than one. Let's break it down. The first one is your physical body. You know this one. This is the flesh and bone package you've been walking around in your entire life. It's the surface layer, the visible part of who you are. But let me tell you, it's not you. It's just the vehicle. The real you, that's something deeper, something far more expansive. Your physical body is just the outer shell, like the skin on an apple, and the real fruit is much more interesting. Beneath that, you have your etheric body, which is your energy body. This is the part of you that animates the physical body. It's the life force that keeps your organs functioning and your cells humming. But it's more than that. It's the first line of defense when it comes to energy. If you're around someone with a toxic energy, your etheric body will feel it before your brain can process what's going on. It's like your personal energy barometer. Next, you have your astral body. This is the realm of emotions, desires, and dreams. It's the part of you that's most connected to your feelings and your fantasies. When you're in love, when you're angry, when you're dreaming, it's your astral body that's vibrating. This is also the realm where your memories and karmic patterns live, so don't be surprised if you experience déjà vu. It's your astral body bringing up past experiences. And behind all of that lies your mental body. This is where your thoughts and beliefs reside. It's the layer that makes sense of the world and organizes all the information your five senses gather. But here's the deal. It doesn't always like it when intuition and clairsentience speak up. The mental body prefers order, facts, and figures. Intuition, it doesn't care about order. It speaks in feelings. So, you can see where the conflict arises. Finally, you have your causal body, the higher self, the immortal soul that's guiding you through life. This is the part of you that knows who you really are and what you came here to do. This is where your soul's blueprint lives, and when you tap into it, life becomes a whole lot clearer. Chapter 5. How we lost our senses, the great forgetting. Let's talk about how we lost these senses. It wasn't just that they vanished. It's not like they were stolen from us. No, we forgot them. It's like being given a treasure map, then being told it's a doodle and you should throw it away. From an early age, we were taught to rely on the five senses. Those were the only ones that mattered. And slowly but surely, those two sacred senses, intuition and clairsentience, were pushed into the background, dismissed as imagination or emotional instability. We were conditioned to think that the invisible world wasn't real. Anything that couldn't be seen, touched, or quantified by science was dismissed as irrelevant. But what if I told you that the very system that made you forget your deeper senses is the same system trying to keep you distracted? The system of logic, of measurement, of the facts. That system benefits when you ignore your intuition. It doesn't want you thinking for yourself. It doesn't want you feeling beyond the five senses. Conclusion. And now, the Great Awakening is here. It's time to reclaim your birthright, your intuition, your clairsentience. They're not mystical powers reserved for the enlightened few. They're essential parts of your being, waiting to be activated. These senses are not just extras to make life a little more magical. They are the key to unlocking the full potential of your existence. So, here's the challenge. Start listening to your deeper senses. Stop ignoring the gut feelings, the knowing without explanation, the sensations that don't fit into your neatly packaged worldview. It's time to open the door and remember the full spectrum of reality. Because the truth is, you were never meant to live with only five senses. You are so much more than that. You are an energetic being, capable of sensing the world in ways most people never even imagined. You've always had these abilities, and now it's time to start using them.